Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kiro's show here, and now, before we do get started, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, we had a lot of things happening. Deku, Marcy, and Chloe. These three spent their time at the Gamora. After a week went by, they had nothing to show for it. However, a few days later, an Enclave squad showed up, and they had to start making a plan. They already had a few other things prepared, but a five-man squad they were not ready for. They were able to take disguises from people in the Gamorra, and they had the intent to lure them back to a hotel room where they could be taken out and taken back to their own to be interrogated later. Now, Deku and Chloe were the ones who had to take these parts on. However, Deku, yeah, he was mistaken for somebody else and had to maintain his disguise, maintain his cover. And that ultimately ended with him getting high on 3 doses of jet fuel and having to walk on stage to dance. However, Deku played his part well, and later he was even able to lure two of the female officers from the Enclave away, where they were eventually all caught together. Now, Deku, he was still coming down from that high, but later they began the interrogations and learned a lot of information. Jean is still alive. The Enclave base is at Searchlight Airport. They mentioned Searchlight, and that says quite a lot. The airport's the only place that would be big enough for an airfield and a multitude of other things for a large army. It has heavy foot traffic. It would explain why their ancestors got to their vault quickly. They were prioritized to land at that airport over 2 centuries ago. They ran down the passageways and got to the vault. It explains a lot more when you start piecing it together. Now, they murdered 4 of the Enclave officers after extensive torture. Their cries went unheard, but the fifth person here, someone Marcy has personal history with, they were released. However, that was after Marcy, she implanted a tracking device from Deku's Pip-Boy into that person's leg. And the man, he was running through the desert terrified for his life, thinking that they were going to chase him down and hunt him for sport. Though, the man, yeah, he's not really too smart. He's covered in bruises, battered, but he was left alive. Why exactly would 3 highly trained killing machines leave him alive? Not the best questions on his mind at the moment. Now, we do have Deku, who does begin to stir and try and think. Currently, Chloe, on his left while Marcy is on his right, and the two are leaning on him. As Izuku, he does sit here for a minute, trying to gain his composure and try to get his thoughts in order. The jet fuel wore off sometime last night. He can finally feel sober again, but okay. Needs to record his log when he can, go over the radios, and shit, he misspoke last night. Okay. He should be okay now, but replacing privacy codes and changing the frequency is definitely possible. He can increase the bandwidth, but that would just increase the range. Though, that doesn't leave out the possibility they won't get interference on their channel. This going through Doug's mind, and he does somewhat mutter to himself as Chloe does go to stir, her leaning off of him as she does go to somewhat stretch her legs. Deku turning to her as she does, go to yawn, asking if everyone's up already. And Deku does a turn, bringing his hand up as Marcy does begin to stir. Them getting up and getting some water. As they start to pack their gear and Deku does stand outside, staring at his map and watching as the dot, it moved significantly. It's past the 188. It's heading towards Novak. That's good. Okay, time for the log. Deku going to turn the knob over before he's at press record and express. Today is day 399. Him, Marcy, and Chloe last night interrogated 4 Enclave officers, and they released a 5th one to lead them to their vaults. After intense interrogation, they got a few answers. They know where home is. They know that John is still alive. And the Enclave, they've been experimenting on their people for a long, long time. Right now, it's theorized that their people might be locked up in cages, still alive to be experimented on. But that is it's a very bad idea to think about. Housing them was already dangerous, and with their escape, he would believe that they could terminate all prior projects. It wouldn't be out of the question, but if they were neutralized or less dangerous than they were, it would mean a lot. So, that's what he does currently have on his mind. As for how they captured the officers from the Enclave, he'd rather not go into better detail with that. They did have to use disguises. He recommends to whoever is listening to this to avoid Gamora. And if they are listening to this at a later date, to be careful. The place will suck you in and bleed you dry. It did so to a lot of people. And there's a lot of people there that they can't help. Some don't want it, and the ones who do, they're terrified of their bosses. He recommends measures to handle this instance. Currently, him going to Express. They're also deciding to go to the Nellis Air Force Base about northeast of here. It's going to be quite simple. If Nellis was hit directly by a bomb, they're not going to go there. However, if they can see it from the distance and make sure it's still there, they want to investigate it just in case. If there's anything that they can use to their own advantage, they'll take it. At this point, they're trying to gear up for a war with an armed military they might not be able to take on. And that's another problem. Even with his abilities and Marcy's, they might be outgunned. Yes, he remembers vaguely murdering a man in power armor. Some stuff is coming back to him. But that was one guy, and it took him and John. If John is under some sort of control, working for them, or still a part of the experiment, there's a chance that John can help them. Though it would require them all to go feral. And that's the best case scenario for them to destroy the Enclave. A more optimistic view is getting the NCR's help and getting the Brotherhood of Steel to possibly help them. Though they are elusive, he's heard that they're in the Mojave. If he can get further information on them, talk with somebody who represents them, he's fairly certain they might like to help. He's heard about what happened in Washington with some sort of project. Apparently the water is drinkable out there. Not so sure about what he's seen here. They have to purify it all. But he definitely thinks that's how they can also gain a foothold in the Mojave. When they use the GEC, the Garden of Eden creation kit, they would be able to sell off massive amounts of purified water, along with the pose deal he does have in one of his previous logs, with the Silver Rush. If they can have the mass pull on the weapons manufacturing and water purification in the area, this would mean they become powerful players. He already does have ideas as to what will happen. The NCR might look at them and try to gain their resources, or become allies. That's the best possible outcome with the NCR. They like to make a deal with them. And when the fact that their vault does have multiple GECs, this means that they can hold quite a lot of sway. Make the Mojave beautiful. Maybe one day the Mojave will be covered in green grass and wild trees. It's a beautiful idea. Stuff does grow in the soil. And while there are ways to get rid of the radiation, from what he remembers reading back in the vault, it's quite a Marcy and Chloe stepping out, as they do to ask if he's still rambling on. Sorry. Deku flipping his wrist. Before he has a turn to both of them, talking about it. It's a little surreal. Is it? We heard you, you know. How much? Uh, Pretty much all of it. If we make a deal with the NCR, that would be good. The Brotherhood would be more difficult. Yeah, that's true. Not a lot of people would be in our corner. Yes, but if we have enough convincing evidence, I think it might help. Deku talking about it, asking, walking forwards, about his bag, and Marcy said hold it up, before talking about it. She got a lot of stuff packed. Radios are in the front pouch. Deku taking it as a 3 due to walk away, making their way down the stairs. And this place, it definitely has served as a nice little base for them. Currently, them going to leave and walk by the fort. Deku turning and seeing a man who does something to glare at him. And Deku does a turn and give him a little bit of his own evil eye. The man sizing Deku up as they do to leave. Now, they do start to make their way towards Nellis Air Force Base. And as they do go to start their walk, they do go to turn on the radio. Deku walking silently as Chloe is somewhat humming along to the tune. And Marcy, she does continue to walk a little fast. If they can find something at Nellis that is useful, that'd be very nice. If they can find anything at all, that'd be better. Resources, supplies, weaponry. It's a former military installation. I mean, if it's still standing, they can make a base there, right? Bring a GEC there and start their own ways. It's a nice idea. There's also the place out by the Great Khans. Now that she's thinking about it, there's multiple places that they would need to set those things up. Huh. Yeah. It would definitely be a nice start. They gotta get the damn things. Currently, they're gonna stop at a campfire. As Deku, he does gonna walk over and sit down, pulling out the radios and going to pull out a screwdriver. Him beginning to open them up as Chloe, she is somewhat panting a little deeply. Marcy turning and noticing that before walking over. going to sit down and tell her to drink some water. I'm fine. I'm fine. You sure? I'm pretty sure you're out of breath. I'm okay. It's just, I'm feeling a little weird. I'll be fine. Do you have a headache? It's hot. I'm gonna be okay. I'm not taking chems if that's what you're thinking. I never said that. It's hot, Marcy. Just drop it. Why? I'm worried about her and you. I'm not just gonna drop it. Besides, I have final say over what you two are cleared to do. I spent a lot of time patching you guys up. Marcy, I appreciate that, but right now, we're okay. It's just hot, and I'm pretty sure the last time it rained was over 2 centuries ago. Just cool your jets. You seriously are not telling me that. Hang on. Uh, Chloe. Hmm? Yeah? I need your help for a second. Her walking over. Toward Deku does I turn, asking Marcy if she can give him a hand over here too. With what? Deku going to sit the three down, or sit the two down, with him and show him what he's doing, telling them about what to do. Connect these wires here, and then with the parts you got from the radio, make sure to adjust. Be careful. Okay. And there it is. Deku going to hold the radio. Before he does, gonna press the button and talk about it. Hello? His voice coming through on the other two, somewhat going to echo. Deku's gonna press the button and gonna wait, holding up Chloe's and holding up Marcy's, talking about it. Okay. Now, he doesn't know the range on these things, but he tried to make sure it was pretty decent. You repaired them. I changed a few things. Right now, we should have a bit more of a secure connection. Don't know how interference might work yet, but it's good. Though, this also start to pose a problem. Like, if I made an error, the Enclave is going to be able to listen in on us. So if that's the case, we got to be careful about what we talk about on open channels like that. Though assuming I did everything perfect, we should be clear to speak freely. So, is that a good or a bad thing? We don't know yet. If we start to get interference, or I think that anything's wrong with the radios, we're going to have to be more careful. Worst case, we dump them. Though we shouldn't be able to be tracked by them. So that's at least the best upside I can give you. Okay, so now what? Now we just take a break, I guess. So yesterday was pretty good. Shut it. You're right about that. Quite the performance you put on, Izuku. Mercy, I don't want to hear that from you. Oh, come on. You can't say you didn't at least have a little bit of fun. I mean, I know the cons usually do throw celebrations, but you were just having so much fun. Yeah, especially the part when you. Okay, fine. I was up on stage. Is that what you want to hear me say? It happened. I thought you two were not on good terms. The two going to look at each other. And Marcy, her face, it does show a little bit of annoyance. Deku going to talk about it. Okay, so should they bring this up now, or let them silently dwell on it? Because now he regrets talking. Just You guys, it happened, okay? It happened. Okay, what exactly happened? Me and Chloe kissed when we were drinking. I mean, I understand it's annoying to you, Marcy. Annoying? Okay, fine. You want to talk about this here? Now in an open desert? I don't know what all this bullshit is. Hell, let's take a load off then. Her sitting back down. Before she said talk about it. The AI in the vault said that they would be married. Hell, if they weren't selected, right now she'd be in the vault, in their shared quarters, with a baby in her arms. And now she can understand Deku a little bit more. She's learned about him. She trusts him and relies on him. That's what she's learned. And the idea of that is interesting. She's conflicted with it. That is what's on her mind. I didn't realize that, Marcy. Why would you? You were assigned to someone, right? I was. So how'd that go? I talked to him before I left. We weren't the best match, to be honest. That's how it went. No family dinner, no meeting the parents, none of that. He wanted to try and participate, but he failed selection. One of our last chats were insightful. Listen, if you want me to back off of Izuku, just say it. I don't know, okay? Just, I don't even know how to express all this bullshit. Deku bring his hands up, expressing. Okay, he regrets bringing this up now. Turning his head to look around. And the two, they do go to turn as well, looking the direction as Deku. He does stare for a second. Right now, him turning back, talking about how he thinks that his ears are playing tricks on him. Are you okay? Fine. Maybe we should keep moving. We've stuck around too long. Amen to that. The two gonna start walking. And Deku, he does follow behind. Right now, Marcy and Chloe trying to talk things out. And Deku, he does try to keep his eyes behind them, making sure that they're not being followed. And they do encounter some creatures in the way. Right now, them making their way up the road as you see a dead guy. Him lying in a funny pose with a hole in his face. As he... Deku walking up. And right now the three dudes don't stand there. Rhino staring at a dead guy who was robbed. And he's been left here on the road. So what do you guys make of this? I have no idea. They let him keep his cap, though. But wouldn't it make more sense for them to take off the shirt? Well, after you take off the cap? I don't know. Though, I mean, the blood's over there, so... Does he have a hole in his back? I'm not flipping him over. Fair enough, but... I mean, the trail shows that they messed with his body. That's pretty fucked up. Yeah. Deku walking up the road. Him going to see the old houses outside the base. All of them in ruin. and craters are everywhere. Deku's staring at the road. Before he does a turn, right now him goes on squint as his goggles they do provide some protection from the sun. Him being able to make out a tower in the distance, and that it does gotta give him some reinforcement that Nellis wasn't hit by a bomb, since it still does stand. As I turn, telling the two that they should get going, since it's still standing, and the two do understand. Deku starting to walk down the road as he does look at the ground, and this, it does have him intrigued. Right now the two coming to catch up, walking past Deku as he says stop, thinking for a minute. The ground has all these dents. Shit, run. The two confused, a sound being heard as everyone they do to hear it. Deku running past the two and going to turn, grabbing both of them by their arms. For we're talking about how this place is active. And right now, there being an artillery shell firing down nearby. And Deku, he does go to feel that force strike him in his body. As Deku does bring up his hand and grab down at his side. Before he has a turn, his ears ringing and yelling as loud as he can to get to the damn fence. And everyone, they do have trouble. Right now, Deku turning and going to grab Marcy by her arm. Before he has a turn and point past Chloe, and Chloe does a turn. Bring her hands up to her ears as Deku, he does start to run. And this does mean a bit. Another shell going off nearby as there's a strike onto the car. The car going to have shrapnel fly in pieces around them. And Chloe, she does get hit in the back of her shoulder. Right now, her screaming out as Deku, he does keep moving. Before he says turn and look behind him. Chloe, right now, going to hold her arm as Deku, he does see that. Turning and hearing another sound. Before he does go to look at Marcy. Right now, her going to hold her hand up and snapping her fingers towards her ears. And Deku, he does go to hear something go off and feel the rumbling of the ground. Him, right now, flying forwards and smashing into the wall. Before he does go to turn and go to feel something pinned inside his side. Before he does go to have Chloe come running up to him, and right now she does go to point down towards his leg. And Deku, he already does feel his body mutating. However, when he does go to put weight down on his leg, he does feel a sharp pain. Him seeing a piece of shrapnel currently embedded inside. And she does go to grab onto Deku's arm and begin to help him run. Right now, Marcy reaching into her bag and turning, stabbing a stimpack into Deku's leg as Deku, he does watch Chloe bring her hand down and rip the shrapnel out. Them running towards the gate as the bombs do continue to fly. Now, we do actually have where they do get closer and closer, making their way down the hill as Deku, he does go to see something flying through the air. Currently, him going to bring his hands up and go to throw the two forwards as it is a land nearby. Deku begins flying forwards as it is flying through the air. Currently, him smashing down and landing directly on his arm. As Deku, he does go to climb to his feet and hold onto his shoulder. Turning to the two, and right now, there is where they don't hear any more firing. They don't hear anything else. And this, it isn't too good. Right now, the three of them sitting there as Deku, he is still shouting. And the two, they do to wait. Right now, Deku sitting there, looking down at his leg and then going to bring his hand up to his shoulder. Before he does go to feel around. Marcy standing to her feet and turning. Seeing Deku, who does currently bleed from his chest. Her scattering to her feet as she does grab Deku. Her going to shout something as Deku, he does feel her force his right arm directly up back in the socket. Him screaming out before she does a turn. Bending down and looking at Deku. Before she does go two tell him with a thumbs up that he's okay. Her turning and running over to Chloe, right now bending down and trying to see the extent of her injuries. However, Chloe, she cannot hear shit. She felt the force rock her body, and currently she does go to try and hold onto a piece of shrapnel she's trying to pull out of her side. Though Marcy does see a piece also protruding from her back and somewhere on her leg, closer towards her thigh. And this, it isn't too good. Deku going to feel something on the ground before he has to turn and go to, with his left hand, hold up his weapon as someone, they just stand there at the fence. Currently, them holding weapons to Deku and his group. And Deku, he does stare at them before he does start to have the ringing in his ear subside. And they do go to ask, exactly what the hell are they doing here? What? Deku reading their lips, as the person does repeat, what are they doing here? And Deku, he does hold his gun firmly up, before he does go to start hearing things a bit better, telling them they're not here for any harm. They didn't know Nellis was inhabited. It is. What are you three? You shouldn't be here. The fact that you got through that bombardment alive. Yeah, it's pretty talented, huh? Listen, just stay where you are. Don't make me fire. You're going to take a few steps backwards before you do that. A bullet's smaller than a missile. This will go through that fence. Yours won't. Just stay right there. Deku looking at some of the people, and some of them are holding weapons. Before Deku does tell them, bring up his right hand and tapping it to his chest. Might not work. He's a bit tougher than they think. And currently someone does come running up, them in combat armor, and telling Deku that his people are to stand down. Does she make herself clear? Who exactly are they, and what exactly are they? And Izuku does ask, turning to a man who does have a vault suit as part of his uniform. And Deku, he does go to lower his weapon, bring his hands down, and telling her, he is Izuku Midoriya, a resident of Vault 16 in Vegas. And they do to stare at him. Before Marcy and Chloe, the two, they do somewhat get to their feet. And this has alarmed the person, since Deku, he is trying to talk to them while he does have a piece of shrapnel embedded in his chest. It's definitely not a good look. Though he does go to pull his cloak off as the person, they do a better look at him. Currently his body, it looks tougher. Almost like there's a hide covering his muscles. Some sort of subdermal armor implant. And the other two do to make their way forwards. Deku bringing his hand up and telling the two not to fire. These are vault dwellers. And right now it does alarm Marcy and Chloe. The two both stepping forwards. And whenever the person does stare at their Pip-Boys, this does surprise them. But what's more is their appearances. I mean, getting through the bombardment. Fellow vault dwellers? Deku asking about their vault number, to which the woman would tell them. They come from Vault 34. Though if they're vault dwellers, what proof do they have? And Deku, he does tell her. If he tried to list anything, she wouldn't believe him. Besides, from what he understands, the vaults all worked differently. I wouldn't know that. Okay, fair. Listen, we don't mean any harm. We came here to see if there was any supplies. That's all. Though, right now, I don't know how well that might work. Shit. Listen, I've been ordered to take you to meet Mother Pearl. Though, you'll be given an escort. We don't want you left alone, especially with your particular oddities. Deku nodding his head, and the boomers do to open the main gate. Deku, Marcy, and Chloe making their way inside, as all of them, they do still have their bodies heavily wounded. However, the stim packs they've taken, they are starting to help. And while they are currently mending their broken bones, their heavily armed escort is walking them through Nellis. And this, it is quite interesting to the Vault Dwellers. I mean, these people have missile launchers, they have the artillery functioning here, and that's a marksman rifle, an assault rifle, a machine gun, all of this stuff. It's beautiful. Deku looking around. Marcy and Chloe then following behind. As currently they are led to a barracks where the boomers, they do stand there. And Mother Pearl is quite surprised. The old woman walking up and expressing about how she's happy that they're here, though they're definitely unexpected. Hi, and who might you be? Uh, we're Vault Dwellers from Vault 16. You don't look like Vault Dwellers. It's a long story, ma'am. Listen, Deku holding up his Pip-Boy, talking about it. He's got a Pip-Boy to prove it. Along with that, well, they don't have their vault suits. Those have been destroyed. Yeah, I don't know where mine's at. Chloe going to turn, expressing about how she lost hers after. It's a long story. So, you have nothing to show us that you're actual vault dwellers. You have my word. Listen, okay, fine. Say something that would be simple enough to explain. Hmm, that is a tough one. Okay then. What was your vault like? Describe it to me. It's large. Ours held 1,000 people. We've only recently found out a few things about it though, but from the ones we've been to, we can tell you this. We think the vaults were part of some sort of experiment. We were 1,000 people underground. 1,000? Yes. We had branches of the military. We trained, we extensively made sure we could survive outside. Our day to day life was training, surviving, learning tasks, learning skills, stuff like that. It was routine. And every year, people are selected to go outside. But now we know that they're being let into the hands of an organization. They did this to us. Deku pulling up his bandana, showing that he does have two protrusions on his head. And right now there is where someone, they did a look directly at Chloe. Right now her bring her hand up and reaching for her bag. As the person, they just step forwards, grabbing her by her wrist as someone does a grab her bag. Her turning and telling them to let go. As her bag, it does get a tear. Currently, the remnants of it scattering to the ground with a few things. As Deku does a turn, Rhino Mother Pearl staring at the things inside. Ammunition, weapons, and chems. Her going to turn to the person and yell at them. As she does, go talk about it. She was just trying to grab some damn medics. She's fucking hurting. And right now Marcy does a turn, telling them, okay, okay, listen, they're from Vault 16. The Enclave experimented on them. As far as they know, the Enclave is a military organization from pre-war America. That's all they have. They're willing to help out. Do they need assistance with anything? They're isolated. So there must be something going on here. Hmm. Interesting proposition. We already were going to ask for your help. But if you are vault dwellers, hmm. Well then, I guess we'll just have to take your word for it. We are. Trust me. Listen, this place is amazing. You guys have a fully functioning base here. Solar array, right? That's how you maintain your power. Yes, it is, young man. And you must grow your own protein. I mean, corn has the ability to absorb radiation, and that must be how you purified the fields? It was. Nels was highly irradiated back in the day. You're smart. That's what I was trained in, ma'am. Listen, as much as we would like to help you, I think you should rest up right now. My people are currently clearing a barracks for you, especially whenever I learned that there were 3 of you. I've waited for this day for a long, long time. You 3 are willing to stay. You're fine to stay. My people will pull back a bit, and hopefully if you are able to assist us, we can assist you. In whatever you do need. The woman's gonna turn, stepping forwards as Chloe does get a little defensive. The woman expressing, holding out her hands, that she's willing to sew that back up for her. Her turning and telling the person that right now, let people know they're going to be accommodating their guest, since they are not hostile. And Deku, he does a turn, asking exactly about what happened at Vault 34. Where even is it? It's close by. Her taking the bag, before Marcy does a bend down and hold up her own. Right now, them going to pick up what's scattered onto the ground. And Chloe, she does going to hold 2 things in her hand. 2 containers. Since... Shit. The labels are all scratched up. Okay, okay. No, no. This one should be... The weight on this one is... Right now, Marcy going to turn, grabbing one of them and telling Chloe. They can handle that later. Right now, though, they probably should rest. Doctor's orders. Fine. Though, can you look at my back? Her gonna stand. And whenever she does it, gonna turn. Mother Pearl does see something protruding from her back. And Marcy does tell her. Okay, does she want the medics now or after? And Chloe does take the syringe. Her going to put it into her leg and go to press down. As Marcy's express. Okay, on the count of 3. 1, pulling it out. And Chloe does wince forwards as Mother Pearl does it a watch that. And Deku does turn, expressing. It's been a harsh year for them. I can imagine. Though your vaults. 1,000 people? Yes, ma'am. All pre-war military. That's why we've been able to survive for so long. We're tough. But your vault, did it have an AI? Something to help the overseers? Now I know you're a vault dweller. What do you mean? Overseer. Not a lot of people know that term out here. At least I don't think they would. Yes, yes. You must be a vault dweller. Okay. Deku a little confused. as he does express. So, they're vaults. What was the experiment? Excuse me? The experiment. From what we've seen and what we've heard, vaults typically have a dark history. It's hard to say. We were all piled underground with an armory full of weapons. Does that count? How many? A lot. I guess that counts. Mother Pearl bring her hand up, and telling Deku right now he's kind of bleeding on the floor. So they should go get rested up, and then they can talk more when he's properly healed up. Their doctor will come by with some medical supplies, and hopefully after that they can discuss a few things. Though if any of them have medical training, the doctor could use urgent assistance with their patients. And Marcy's a turn, her ears perking up, hearing about that. As she's expressed, somewhat limping over, that she can actually take a look at that. She's skilled at a few things, and putting her knowledge into practice is always nice. Are you sure about that? Trust me, I'll be fine. Though, I might need to take some Comex for my hands. Adrenaline's still a little high. Don't push yourself now. Just go rest up. I'm sure the doctor can keep them comfortable until you are fine. Later tonight, if possible. If you're feeling up to it. Appreciated. Her nodding her head as they're squared away. And Mother Pearl, she is curious. These outsiders are claiming to be vault dwellers. It's interesting. But that young man knew what an overseer was. 1,000 people underground. That's a massive vault. Though he knew about their fields. He mentioned a lot. This in our mind. And Deku, whenever they are taken to an empty barracks, they do going to step in. Currently, Deku walking over and going to sit down before Marcy tells them. Right now she needs to examine them both, and this is not simply something that they can dismiss. Her walking over and asking Deku to lay down. Him doing so, and she does get to examine the shrapnel that is in his chest. Before there actually is Chloe, who does go to pop open the container of healing salve. Her giving it a whiff before she does get something pulled away. Expressing, yep, okay. Her going to scoop it out with her fingers, bring up to her mouth, and going to start taking it down. Her going to taste something vile as she's going to turn to her canteen. Her going to grab at it and then going to start chugging some water. Before she just don't sit there. Telling Deku. We're now her closing the container and I'm going to turn tossing it over. About how that should help with internal injuries. Right. Him attempting to sit up. Her bring her hand down and slimming him back down. Deku wincing as she has to tell him to sit still. And Izuku doesn't understand. Currently, Chloe going to at least give herself her own once-over. Whenever Marcy does get to pull out the shrapnel and tell Deku to lay there for a minute, he does to do so. Her injecting him with a stim pack as she's a stand, walking over and expressing about what else she can do. And this, it does mean a bit. Deku's just gonna lay here for a few hours and rest. And right now she has to make her way over to Chloe. Her giving her a similar once-over before at least trying to make sure she can help mend anything else that's broken. And that, it definitely is a bit more of a godsend. Currently, Marcy gonna sit down and do the same damn thing. Right now, her going to bring her hands up and then go to open up her jacket. Right now, her going to pull it down for a minute and going to unhook her wings. Before she does go to cover her chest and let her wings expand. Currently, her trying to make sure they're not damaged. Her giving them a bit of a test flap, and they do go to feel fine. Her, however, asking Chloe for help checking her ribs. And this, it definitely does her to help. Deku laying there quietly and just trying to think. He's still got a bit of ringing in his ears. But they're at Nellis Air Force Base. And they're meeting other Vault Dwellers. This is so trippy. I mean, there was always the chance. Deku going to sit up. Right now him taking some of that healing salve in his mouth. Him tasting the vileness of it, however, he does go to just choke it down. Currently, him sitting there and going to press record, adding on to his audio log about how they've made it to Nellis Air Force Base today. They were welcomed with a bombardment of artillery. However, as it does turn out, there's a vault nearby the Air Force Base, and the descendants of Vault Dwellers live at Nellis. And this definitely is a remarkable thing. He's gonna have to go over a few things, but there's a lot that can learn from this. With a proper partnership with the Boomers, then things would work out fine. This is incredible. These people have functioning artillery technology. It's amazing. This right now in Deku's mind. Marcy turning and telling him to lay back down. Deku turning, telling her about how he's fine. And she just don't glare at him, expressing that it's doctor's orders. And he does go to somewhat groan, going to lay down and facing away. As she's a turn, talking a bit with Chloe. And Deku, he does feel his breathing get a little bit faster. Right now him trying to get a bit of a nap in, since he does want to at least catch up on some sleep. Though Nellis, they're not captives, but this place definitely is safer. I mean, it's weird, but it's safer. And that it is a thought currently going through his mind. And we do actually have later in the day where Deku, he does go to wake up. His chest feels tight, and he does go to sit up, trying to think about it. He still has the damn shakes. He still feels like his bones got rattled. I mean, hell. If this is what it feels like to be hit by a damn car, then that's probably the best thing you can say about it. And Deku, he does try to think, turning and not seeing Marcy in the room, as he has to stand up and grab his bag. Currently him gonna pull out some whiskey before he has to sit back down, popping the top and then gonna hold up a sarsaparilla. Before he does a twist and then go to pull the top, flipping it over, and okay, just a regular one this time. Though if he does collect 50 caps, there is the chance of that damn treasure. Whatever it might be. You're awake? Yeah. How you feeling? Rattled? That's the right term. Her making way over and going to sit down, holding her hand up, talking about how she'd like some of that. And Deku does a turn. Her going to take a few swigs before she at least set it back in Deku's hand. Deku pouring the sarsaparilla in and expressing to her, taking a sip before pouring the rest of the bottle in, setting down the empty sunset sarsaparilla and telling her that right now there's a lot happening. No shit. Is Marcy helping the doctor? Yeah. There's a lot happening. Though, how are you feeling? I'm feeling fine. Thanks for earlier. You saved my ass. You saved both of ours. Besides, I owed you for the landmine. No problem. Seriously, it's nothing. Fucking artillery. Swear I nearly pissed myself. I'd be more surprised if you didn't. Though, how's Marcy? She's okay. How are you? I just said before I was rattled. Chloe. Fine. I was terrified. I mean, I've never felt the ground shake like that. It was strange. I mean, I've heard about what explosives like that could do before, but the artillery shells, they're really impressive. As much as they are terrifying. And to think that we built bigger shit than that, that's just a little mind boggling to me. Right. That's fair. Deku taking a swig. Her going to grab the bottle after Deku and then going to take her own swig. Hmm. I almost bit my tongue. Her going to take the bottle from Deku and then taking her own swig. Deku going to grab the bottle back and tell her, okay, okay, he doesn't have a lot of whiskey left. Tell me about it. They saw my chems. They don't know what jet is. Right. So that does confirm it. They're not just posing as it. They are actual vault dwellers. Though that dickhead earlier, he tore my bag. Mother Pearl gave it back earlier. Though, when she asked about it, I told her that I knew how to make a few things. She seemed a little surprised. I explained a bit more, and I think she understands, but I don't know. We might have given off the wrong impression here. Maybe. Though I think if we help them out, they'll relax a bit more. It's understandable, though. I mean, isolated all this damn time? Yeah, yeah. The isolation will get to you. Tell me about it. Hmm? No, never mind. It's just you're not alone anymore, Chloe. You have me, and you have Marcy. Okay, but you just don't get it, don't I? Chloe, I've spent over a month out here without either of you. I'm pretty sure I know lonely. After I found Marcy, I felt better. You had the cons, didn't you? I don't say you kept them at a distance. You told me before you guys partied. That's getting involved with them. Plus, at least you somewhat knew Chance. Better than I did. Chloe, you're closed off. Okay, doctor. Chloe, I'm being serious. Listen, we can talk. Currently, her gonna grab Deku, pulling him into a hug, and talking about it. She doesn't she doesn't want to talk. Just be right here. Yeah, yeah. Deku bring his arm around her, and telling her, taking back the whiskey, that he's right here. He's not going anywhere. Him and Marcy aren't going anywhere. And she does, someone starts to tear up. And Deku, he does go to lay his chin on her head, as he does stare at her ears. Right now, him getting a better look at them. However, telling her, it's alright. They'll get back home. They'll make sure to get back home. He'll promise her that. And she does at least believe this. And Deku, he does sit here, him and her continuing to drink. We do actually have Marcy, who does get finished helping the doctor out and even telling him a few things, expressing about what she did. The men will be fine, though after their encounters with the fire ants down there, she'd recommend keeping a distance. And the doctor does express his gratitude. However, he is still worried, wanting to know anything she has about medical information. And she talks about how she can leave some notes for him, at least in case this does happen again. But hopefully it doesn't. Might want to talk to Loyal then. Or any of you skilled in engineering, or go with your hands, that would be Izuku. He can repair a lot of stuff, though anything involving, well, more engineering stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, what do you mean? Like tech-wise, like technological repair. Oh, um, what about technological engineering? I heard Loyal's working on this frequency thing. Great. I mean, me and my friend might be able to handle this. We can help out. Right. Hopefully you two can do so soon. I know the power's been spotty. And if we lose power, then that's going to be bad. We might get an influx of people here. Might make it a little bit harder for us to see out there. You're lucky. What do you mean? Usually you want to keep it dark out in the wasteland. You don't want to be seen. A fire attracts things. You guys have the gates. You also have the artillery, so you're lucky. I never thought of it that way. I understand. I'll get you some medical information in the morning, if that does help. I'll leave you what I know. Though it might take some time for me to sort it all out, there is no rush. I understand that you and your allies might be here for a couple days. Oh, we're not sure we're staying that long yet, though appreciated. Her nodding and going to walk off, currently leaving the room as an armed guard does stand there. Her looking at the man and telling him, he doesn't have to wait on her. She knows where the barracks are. I'm just following orders. Listen, I get that, but I just saved their lives in there. Her bringing her left hand up. The man staring at her clawed finger as he has to tell her. He's just, stop. I helped those people. Do you know them? Do you know them? I know one of them. Good. I saved their life. Now, if I wanted to do something, I would have botched a surgery. I would have done something to harm and kill them if I wanted to. Chalk it up to a medical accident, something I couldn't control. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Yes, you. What? Yes? What? Yes, doctor. Good. Thank you. Her turning. Going to walk off, expressing about how her and her friends aren't here to cause trouble. Now, if he excuses her, she'll go back to their current residence. And the man does stare at Marcy, realizing that she's a little more intense than he gave her credit for. Though he is happy to hear about his friend surviving, and that it does put his nerves a little bit more at ease. And we do have Marcy's walk into the cabin that they're staying at, or the barracks that they're staying at. Now, whenever she does do so, she does see Deku. Currently, him sitting there with Chloe. And the two, they are sharing a drink as Chloe does sit there quietly with Deku, her wrapped in one of his arms. And whenever she has a turn, Deku, he does look up at her, his eyes showing that right now the two have been talking. And Marcy just at least look back at him. Deku going to show with a bit more of a softer expression that right now Chloe, she's not doing too well. And this does make her nod, before she's going to walk over and go to pull out another container of whiskey. Her walking over and expressing, holding up a Nuka-Cola, about how it's no sarsaparilla, but mind if she joins them? Including as a turn. Her wiping her face before talking about it. No, it's alright. Just, something in her eye. You know, I was scared earlier. Yeah, I was terrified. I mean, nothing like with those death claws, but I thought I caught shrapnel on one of my wings. That would have been very bad. Plus, whenever my ears started ringing, I thought we'd all get separated again. Like what happened before? Yeah. Yeah. We all just go running in different directions like chickens with their heads cut off. Yeah. Though we all stuck together. That's good. It is. Currently, Marcy holding up the whiskey before she's to down it herself and then go to pop the top to the Nuka-Cola, beginning to pour it in. And Chloe comments on her particular fondness for that type of mixing. And right now, Marcy does give a bit of a cheeky grin, talking about how she didn't learn it from someone who gave her a bit of a bad habit doing that. And Deku does start to laugh, all of them trying to relax their nerves. They're in a safe spot. They're in a safe place. And right now, while these people are betting a few things, they do feel better. Nellis is a private grounds for these people exclusively. None of them are enclave, as far as they know. If any of them were, they would have ran off. Though with the way they were firing with extreme prejudice, that would be pretty damn hard to accomplish. So yeah, it definitely does help. Ball's in their court, and right now, they've got to make sure to play in a way that does let everyone feel better. And speaking of that, Deku and the two, they do continue to drink, talking about a few other things, before they all do need to get some rest for the morning. And Deku, he does currently lay there, thinking about a lot, as right now, Deku does have Chloe on his left, Marcy on his right, and they don't want to go anywhere. After this conversation, they don't want to be apart. None of them want to be left alone right now. And that Deku can handle. Him closing his eyes to fall asleep. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.